Okay, we are about to get started here in just a second. Give me just 1 second, we're going to get started. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Because I want to share this out. Share. Let's see. Share. There we go. All right, super excited. And then, all right, and let's see. Let me broadcast this through Zoom. And I'm also going to, I'm excited. Thank you for joining. Wow, this is exciting. Okay, so the reason we're here is because we want to share with you a little bit about EXP and our story with EXP. I'm going to actually move this over here. And our story with EXP. First of all, I'd like to introduce us. My name is Bettina. This picture right here is a picture of my husband, Juan. And we have been in real estate since 2006. Here's more of our family on the left. I love to RV travel. Our model has really given us a lot of freedom, and it has allowed us to do that. We've been in business since 2006. We were really, we were considered a big team back then. We did a lot of production, and we had a lot of fun with that. My husband didn't love it as much as I did. He felt like we were really putting a lot into our business and not as much time into our family and to each other. And the net at the end of the day that we were receiving from our business, our net time, our net energy, the net income, the income was good, but the energy and the time, and those are things that we just can't get back. Our kids are going to grow, they're going to leave, and we don't get this time back with them. And he just felt like our focus wasn't great. But for me, I wanted to also make sure that we had the money to support our family. And he was like, great, there's got to be another way to do it. And today we're going to kind of share with you another model and another way to make this possible as well. So these are kind of some things we're going to go on later. But before we go into this, I want to kind of give you a little bit of history on how the industry changed. So little background, my grandfather, who's passed away for a long time now, but he first got his real estate broker's license back in the day where all he had to do was fill out a form, and then he mailed it in, and he was a broker. And there was a lot of people who did this. And then what happened is these brokers started getting more businesses, and they started hiring agents, and the agents would give them 50-50 splits. And then so this model came along, and they would franchise this model across the country where the agents would go out, they'd work, they'd do the whole deal, whether they brought in the business for themselves or the broker gave it to them. And they would give it a 50-50 split, whether it was 100,000, 200,000, it was a 50-50 split. Well, as the economy changed and as things changed, another model came along. And basically the model consisted of a different compensation for the agent. They said that if you would just pay, let's say, $1,000, $1,200 a month, you could be 100%. So the franchise came into existence. And so they really put up the pressure on Coldwell Banker and Century 21, and companies that this was like, think of Remax. Remax did a great job. This is when they really exploded, right? During that time, and you pay a monthly and kept the 100%. So a lot of times they'd get the top producers who had their own business and didn't want to give 50% of their commissions to the broker anymore. And then as things progressed, the economy changed, the compensation model shifted. And this is where we get what we're all familiar with now is a split and a cap. So a big company that came out of this was Keller Williams. They did, for the most part, not always, like we had a 90-10, but most people I think had like 70-30 split that would cap. So if you weren't doing business that month, let's say you got sick, something happened, you went on vacation, things happen, and you don't have the commissions to pay your $1,200 that month, it's okay, because what they're going to do is just take 30% of your commission, put it towards the company dollar, and that would cap it, let's say 18,000, 21,000, 25,000, whatever the cap was for that company or whatever you negotiated. And then and that has been going on for so long. And as you can tell, the compensation model has shifted to better benefit the agents through the year. And we haven't had a compensation model shift in quite some time that really changed the way the industry was done until now. And we're going to be sure to go over that. But before we go into that, let's kind of go over this. And oh, you know what? Let me try presenting this. Let me see if I can do this. I'm sorry. I'm going to make this bigger. Okay. So basically, if you look at it, this is how the model has shifted. And I'm going to make this screen bigger. First, we had the national company. And this is kind of the way things have been forever and ever and ever. Right? And this is probably very similar to most companies that you know, every franchise out there. And this is the way we've always had to expand because there wasn't really any other way. You saw blockbusters, hotels. This is just the way it is. You had a national company, and then the national company would split into regions. Let's say the Northwest, Southwest, Central, Eastern, Northeastern. You've seen the regions. And then so the regions would then, their responsibility was to make little territories, and they sold these territories to like franchisors and owners, right? And then the franchise and the owners would have to lease a building and make sure the utilities and staff it. And one of the main staff members that they would get was like an office manager or a team leader whose responsibility was to manage the agents. They would hire, attract, and manage agents because it was the agent's responsibility to pay into the company dollar. So the agents were strongly encouraged, taught to go out and sell real estate to bring money to support this whole system. So a good portion, like 3 to 10%, would go towards supporting this. Well, this is because of technology, because of the laws. This was just the way it's been. And we're seeing how things have shifted through the industry to be more platform-based. Platforms, remember when Google came out and there were investors and they would say things like, I don't know if this is a good investment because there's no assets, because it was a platform. Other platforms that we're seeing take over the industry is Airbnb. They have 3 times more they have more doors than the top brands all put together. Another popular platform that we've really come to use a lot is Uber, especially when we travel. I use Instacart all the time to bring the groceries to us. Yesterday I was at my daughter's dance convention, and we used this really cool app called Favor. And you can go have food delivered from a restaurant, like call a favor. I had a friend, they said, they call in a favor and somebody will go to the liquor store and pick up liquor for you. Like, how cool is that? So everything is turning into platform-based. So that, because of the platform, things are so much better for so many industries across actually, it's better for the end user, right? And if you think about it, the agents are the ones that bring in all the business. If we're the ones that are bringing in the business, we have become the brand. Because of technology, you and I, we're the brand. So now we have something, and where the agents, right? You have the agent, but guess who's supporting the agent? National company. The national company is supporting the agents. You'll notice here, what's not in this model to the right. That's not going to be your regions, your franchises, and team managers. We have a national company who's on a platform, and we call it a cloud-based platform. If you think Airbnb, all these companies, they're cloud-based platforms. So, and the reason we're able to do this is really, like I said, it's the cloud office. And this cloud office, remember, we don't have that manager before. So the ownership, we don't have the franchises. So the ownership now goes to the agent. So we get a portion of what used to go to the regions and to the franchise owners. And we're going to talk about how this is able to happen. Okay. And I'm so excited about this. And let's talk about this next time. So let's talk about who we are. Our founder is Glenn Sanford. He's our CEO, and he is so smart. What he did really well before he got into real estate is he worked with tech companies who were startups. So he was really good at recognizing a concept, a new concept that other people hadn't thought of before. And he went through that process of seeing them be successful, the ones that were successful and what it would take to be successful. After he did this for a while, he got his real estate license and he grew an amazing business. And his intention was actually to go nationwide. And what he had found was after a while that, you remember I said I got into real estate in 06? I don't know when you got into real estate, but you probably remember what happened in 06. If not, everything's on Google. That's the market was here. And after that, the market, that was a recession, right? And a lot of it, there were bubbles. We had those loans that were crazy and all over the place. And luckily we're not there. And, you know, we know that there should be a correction, but it shouldn't be like it was in 08, 09. And Glenn basically wanted to expand, but he didn't have the money to put his lease and to hire and to do all that stuff. And he also was like, why do I need that? That's not where I get my business from. That's not where my agents go to learn and everything. Everything he was doing was really online. And he also knew that that would be our future. And he's like, I believe in this concept of a platform-based real estate company, because he felt like this was going to be the future of real estate. He's right, and I agree. So let's, I can tell this is the first time I've done that slide, so it kind of threw me off. And I hope that was really, really helpful for you to kind of see how things have evolved over time. So this is kind of where eXp was at and where we're at now. We started 10 years ago. That's why I have that 10-year slide at the very beginning. And we've really come to make a big hit in the industry. Right now, we're over 23,000 agents. So if you think we had 1,000 agents back in 2016 when we first heard about the company. By 2018, we had over 10,000 agents. Now we're in 2019, we have over 23,000 agents. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking that's pretty fast growth. In fact, that's the fastest real estate brand that has ever existed in the history of real estate. And not only we're growing by agent count, our production is just through the roof, and we're winning so many amazing titles. The other thing that I really love are the values in this company. Family is really important to me, having fun, community, service. A big one for me is transparency. I love how transparent our company is. I love that because through this, because they are so transparent and so honest, we're innovating at a rate that's faster than anybody I've ever seen. Like there's always challenges as our businesses grow. You as an agent, as you grow your business, right? So we're innovating faster than anybody else is innovating. And a lot of it is because that's the way we start out. That's the way we think. And we're doing this because we have a national company whose entire focus is supporting the agent. That is the value proposition. And we're doing that. And I believe that all of this is going to really, truly help us be so sustainable. And now let's go into our business model, okay? as we were talking about, there's been platforms in the past that are really taking over the industry. And how does this affect us? Okay, how is this translating to the real estate? We've seen it: blockbuster, franchise model, platform, Netflix, right? Netflix can stream to more agents, not agents, to more people, more movies in a shorter period of time. Their overhead has gone down significantly, right? We're doing the same thing in real estate. We're not a franchise. We don't have those overhead costs that really put a lot of brokers under in 2008, 2009. They struggled hard. The inconsistency in the growth with the market shift. The market shifts, it's tough on everybody. And they aren't able to support the agent because the support, the education comes in that one office. So everything is about getting the agent to the office so that you can share the information with them. As you can see now, you're not even in our cloud office. We're using a Zoom platform or the Facebook platform that is allowing you to receive the information. We're no longer burdened by having to get dressed, get into our car, and get into the office to do that. So we have a cloud campus, and we're going to show you how you can experience a cloud campus. Live training. So I know training is important, and information now with the Google, YouTube, everything, it's so important. It's all out there. But we also, on top of the pre-recorded training, the information's all out there, we have 40 hours of live training. So it's not the best realtor in the office. It's our best realtors of the 23,000 that are teaching in the cloud. And the agents that we're getting to come over to EXP because they're forward-thinking, business, entrepreneurial, successful. These are the agents that we're getting to come teach to agents and share and mastermind and have conversations in the cloud. In fact, one of my favorite is we call iConversations on Friday mornings. This is where you get the top agents in the company coming from, and we all get to sit in and listen in. How cool is that? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a fly on the wall? And then you can also raise your hand and ask questions. Your avatar does that. So cool. So international, I'm not going to go through everything just because for the sake of time. Get with the person who invited you to this. I just want to give a quick overview so you just can see how we are impacting the industry. And I want you to, so that you can ask the questions, so that you can be interested, so that you can make the best decision for your business, which in turn is what's, for those of us who have a family, is the best interest for our family, because our business does seep into our family. So another benefit of being in a cloud campus is that we don't have desk fees. We can work from anywhere we have an internet connection. Back in the day, to get to the office, you'd have to get in your car and get there, right? So that's, for me, I would spend a half hour to drive to the office. When it was closer, it was a minimum of 15 minutes, and that's if I hit all of the green lights. Now, and that's just so I can get face-to-face to get an answer with somebody right away versus sending an email or a phone call that's getting ignored. Because you know what it is. If you're sitting there right in front of somebody, you're going to get better results and faster and have a better conversation. And we're able to do that through our cloud environment. And here's an example of a cloud environment. My son, right now, because he's out of school today, he's playing Xbox, and I can hear him. He's hanging out with his friends. In fact, one of his friends popped in and said, Gabe popped in and said, "Hey, can you invite me to come play with your group?" So he's like, "Yeah, hold on, I'll send you an invitation." So he sent him an invitation, and now Gabe and a bunch of kids are playing in the cloud with their avatar. They hang out, they talk about games, they talk about what's going on in school, they talk about all sorts of stuff. They talk about the game. But this is, and you know this, so as a parent who has kids in the same age group, when they take away their electronics, they're taking away their access to their friends. When we were kids, I'm 46, when we were kids, they would ground us, meaning put us in our room, right? You couldn't leave the house. And it was devastating because that limited our access to our friends. That's not the case anymore. And that's not the way the future is going. And another really cool thing is we had a kid who lived right up the street. He moved to, I think, Pennsylvania, and now he's in Puerto Rico. Guess what? They still hang out. And I think they actually hang out more that he's in Puerto Rico than when he was up the street. Isn't that cool? Same thing, except now instead we're allowing our kids to only utilize this technology to hang out. We're actually utilizing this technology to grow our real estate business. Yeah, it's that cool. It's efficient. And let's say, and I know there's a time for cloud, and there's a time to work from home, but sometimes we just want to go in a brick and mortar office building, and we don't want it to be a Starbucks. So let me introduce you to Regus. You can Google Regus corporate suites and find the one that's close to you. They offer a huge network, just like the office before. You go in, drink your fancy coffee, you can get prints, you can go huddle up in a workspace. There's a receptionist that you can hang out and talk with and ask how her day went. You can also rent office space. You get a big corporate discount with Regus for if you want. Let's say you have a team and you want to get belly to belly, or you just want a place to store all your stuff. You can rent a Regus corporate suite. A lot of times I bring this up and they're like, oh, where are they? And I'm in Allen. And I was like, well, there's one at Waters Creek and right up there. And they're like, oh yeah, Brad, our lender one of our lenders used to have his office there. Lewis, another lender, used to have his office at one. So there's these kind of shared workspaces are getting to be really common. So check those out. Everybody at EXP gets a membership for Regus. All you got to do is fill out the form after you onboard. And there's a little form, and then you get your own membership ID. We talked about the training, tons of training. It's live. We do listings, we go to do broker trainings, we do compliance, we do marketing, Facebook, business planning, goals, just name it. I mean, it takes a lot of content to fill 40 hours every single week. Because remember, we're live, we're interacting, it's real-time support. It's not like sending in an email or a chat bot or anything like that. Although that is available, there's that belly to belly. We just brought in Canada. We now have 5 provinces in Canada, UK, Australia. What's really cool is that there's some amazing classes coming out of Canada right now. We get to participate in those as well. It's so cool. I'm so excited about those classes. Also, I wanted to kind of visit with you. Okay, we have always, I'm so happy to, okay, I just put this slide in here, request from Craig. And this is, are you familiar with the 4 quadrants of income? So we can make income in 4 ways. One is as an employee, which is here in the top left-hand corner. The second is to be self-employed. So basically when you're an employee, you have a job. You make money off of your job because somebody else has created an opportunity and they told you what to do. And you said, I will give you the time from, let's say, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And in trade for this time, I will give you money, right? So let's say you're like, I don't need somebody to give me a job. I can get my own job. I'm going to be self-employed, right? So what this means is that you're going to still trade time for money, but you don't have to pay, like you make a little bit more because there's less of a middleman. That Chris talks about intermediation is like taking out the middleman, and we're seeing a lot of that because of technology now, because now we can like go on Facebook Marketplace or go on Facebook and ask and tell people, hey, I'll do this job for this amount of money. But let's say you're really, really good at getting opportunity and getting jobs, right? You're really, really good at that. You hire people to help do that. You're still kind of self-employed, even though you're kind of working into your business aspect, which is the business owner thing here in the top right-hand corner quadrant. The key here that makes this a big, successful business is that you own a system for people to work for you. So it's all about the system, right? And then the next quadrant is the investor quadrant, and that's where you make money and you invest it, and that money is making money for you. So if you'll notice on the left side of the quadrant, we're trading time for money. On the right side of the quadrant, the time is leveraged, right? So now you have leverage, and you've either got systems, people, or money working for you, and it's coming in residually. So linear income side, on the right side. So the reason we bring this up is because this is so critical. A lot of us got into real estate because we had a job and we didn't want a job anymore. We wanted an opportunity to be self-employed, right? The problem with this is, just like a job, is if something happens, we get sick, we can't work, we decide we want to retire, right? And we go into all this and the money stops, especially in real estate. The only way to make money is to sell a house. You stop selling, you stop making money. This is why revenue share is so important. This is why a lot of teams are wanting to build teams so that they can leverage that, right? Most people aren't going to be able to do that, right? This is true. For us, we invested a lot into our people on our teams. And we just needed another model, and we're going to go into that. We're also going to talk about investments. So right now, put on your business owner hat, and then in a minute, I'm going to ask you to put on your investor hat, okay? Actually, let's switch that. Let's talk about investments first, because I just like the idea of having my money work for me, okay? So one of the cool things about eXp, 3 years ago, eXp was considered, they still had stock. And if you remember that graph that I went to over here, we weren't always a stock company because we're only 10 years old. They actually, when did stock started happening here? 2013. 2013 was the year that we became publicly traded stock. The thing about that is that we were considered penny stock. But then, get this, in 2018, just a year ago, we got uplisted to the NASDAQ. That means we're legit stock. See, this is us. That's Glenn and Jason, nicest guy. By the way, Jason just got promoted to our CEO. Actually, I think he is. They give him these titles, but it doesn't matter because his heart is always with the agent. And I love that about him. Not only is his heart really big, but he's smart. He's crazy smart. So you've got Glenn, crazy smart. You got Jason, crazy smart. You got so many crazy smart people who are helping to grow. Talk about leverage. We're leveraging up a company who's doing this for us. So one of the cool things about eXp is that, remember how I said we're not a franchise model and we're an agent-owned company? So as we do our production, they award us stock. When we help the company grow by introducing agents to eXp, we're awarded stock. There's so many different ways to earn stock. If you're a big producer, they award you stock. And here's just a few of them. Another really cool thing that a lot of corporate companies do is they allow you to purchase stock at a discount. So eXp will allow you to take up to, but no more than, up to 5% of your commission and purchase the stock at a 20% discount. So you've probably gotten certificates, awards, plaques before for production. And when you introduce your broker or team leader, manager to another agent and they came over to their brokerage, you probably may have gotten a thank you, or better yet, a Starbucks gift card. Do you know what we get here at eXp? We get an opportunity to experience the growth, the equity growth of the company through equity stock ownership. I think that's cool, okay? And look, that's cool. And we also can have an opportunity to do this. I'll go into that later. The other thing is that You know how I always say, like, this company is really about the agents, and they really believe in this. So they have agents representing different part of the agent community. You've got agents who are new, agents who are extremely experienced, agents in luxury, agents from different part of the country, and they represent the different sectors and the different type of agent in our agent community. And they work very closely with our executive team, right? And because of this, because what we, and they're very purposeful and very intentional about making sure that they do not lose the hearing and the understanding of the agent's needs, and they can always hear our voice. And I love that. That's another thing I love about our company. Okay, now we had our investor hat, which was tons of fun because we're leveraging money, right? Now put on your business owner hat. Remember, that's all about the systems. And we need to have, and a lot of times they'll call it a business model. So we're changing the way real estate is done in our real estate industry. So I'm going to go, we've talked a lot about our model. We're a cloud brokerage, which reduces a ton of expenses, which reduces a lot of that middleman. So what that leaves is a lot of excess revenue. And remember how I said EXP compensates us for our contribution to the growth of the company? When we introduce an agent to EXP, we get not just opportunity for equity share, we get that opportunity for that experience, whatever happens to the stock. And we also get a portion of the revenue. So another company that had this similar concept was Keller Williams, with what they called profit share. So sometimes people don't think that there's a difference. There's a big difference, okay? Revenue is all of the money that comes into a company. So in real estate, they call it company dollar, right? And because remember how we talked about the history of the split? So that split is the revenue. So let's say at EXP, it's an 80-20 split. So on a $10,000 commission, $2,000 would be considered company dollar. 50% of that goes back to the agent that helped introduce, or to the agents that, and we're going to go into more detail of how this is done. 50% of that goes back to the agent pool that helped introduce the agent to EXP. And we call this a revenue share plan, okay? And here's kind of the way it works. Let's say you introduce me, and I'm a capper, to the company. I'll make 3.5%, you'll make 3.5% of the adjusted gross commissions income. So $10,000, assuming that's 50, so about 50% of 3.5% of $10,000 commission is $350. Pretty good. Now that's not coming out of the commission, that's coming out of that $2,000 revenue, $2,000 company dollar that we're always used to just letting go. Because historically, we've been renting our brokerage. We gave our brokerage the money and we didn't ask for any equity or anything in return other than support, which is the basics, right? Of course we want support. Of course we want education. This helps us grow our business so that we can help more people buy and sell real estate. But now we get a portion of the revenue, which is the money off the top. Not all the deductions with the leftover profit, but the money off of the top. Does that make sense? That's so exciting. I don't know about you, but when I file my taxes at the end of the year, our accountant says, hey, you made this much money. I'm like, no, I didn't. I had all of these expenses. He says, oh, well, the profit that you made at the end of the year is this. That's actually what you made. Now, if I'm going to take a share of a company and I don't have a say in how the expenses go, I want it off the top, right? So that's what's so cool about this company. So the first person, let's say you invite me, I'd be your level one. You get 3.5% of that commission of the company dollar, of that $16,000, because it's a $16,000 cap. I happen to know some folks in the industry because I've been doing this since 2006. Well, in fact, there's so many realtors are easier to find than buyers and sellers. Google it. Google buyers, Google sellers, and Google realtors. They show up everywhere. In fact, there's signs everywhere. There's business cards. I drive down the street. There's somebody with a big old sign, woo, for sale sign, has their number on it. Realtors are easier to find than buyers and sellers. That's what's so cool. So I'm going to probably introduce this concept and this model to other realtors. I absolutely am, because this model has changed our life. And we travel now. We have time now. We breathe more now, right? Our business is so much more fun now. So of course I'm going to share this to other people. Those people that I introduced to EXP would be considered your level 2. Now I'm going to let you know something. Those people, there's going to be people in that group of people that I introduced to EXP who will also tell other people. That'll be your level 3. This goes, if you can see, this goes down 7 levels. 7 levels. So can you see why we're so excited to talk about this model and to help you share this model? If you know anybody else who'd like to know what's going on here, we'd love to share this with them. Okay? Here's something else. So all of this is this platform, this ability to share the revenue, this ability to get stock ownership is all able to happen because of what we call EXP World. Another way to put it is the cloud office. Okay? This is all it is. Check this out. I have an icon on my desktop and I click it. It automatically pops up this screen right here, which auto-populates, and I click start. And it pops me into the office world. So when I first pop in, the first thing I see is the information desk. Just so you know, it's run, I go but with arrows. The up arrow means forward, left means left, right means right. And then back means back. So easy, right? Let's say I want to talk to the transaction team, there's or the technology department or something like that, or the accounting department. They're all there. You'll see these buildings behind the information. This is the transaction department. If I need an updated CDA because there was a last minute thing, here's what happens sometimes. I have a buyer, the seller didn't make 100% of the repairs, and so we need to update the CDA. That happens. Or something happens, I'll need them. I'm like, hey, can you rush that in there? Yes. I didn't have to wait on sending an email, seeing anybody look at it. The other really cool thing is that we have friends who have teams in different states. So they'll have a team in California, one in Texas, and one in Florida. And they can actually meet and collaborate with their team in the cloud. Education in the cloud. We have this auditorium, and it's this size, right? It's got like this size, and it holds this many people. But every so often we do a class that wants to hold over 1,000 people. Do you know what the auditorium does? It gets bigger. We're not hauling in chairs. We're not having to build another building. We're not having to reschedule or relocate. It's okay. It just goes, and then all of us can just fit in there, right? It's so super cool. It's efficient. It's a great way of making things work, okay? You can literally go into the office from anywhere. And I can send you this link now. I mean, we can listen to it later, but it's a quick little video, okay? Look at that. Kind of go through it really quick. This is the technology department, the tech outpost, the auditorium. We also have a lot of fun in here. We have a soccer field, we've got a speedboat. See these little tables, you have private meetings at those tables with somebody. What's really cool is when you walk through the cloud office and you run into somebody and you can have a conversation with them. Here's a class that we just popped into really quick. Poof, right? They can share 3 screens there. Agent services, Their job is to make your experience at EXP better. You have any questions, go ask them. This is folks coming in to a presentation. Isn't this cool? Anytime, anywhere. So that is such a great solution. I'm going to be honest. It's a little weird at first. It's like, I don't know if you remember the first time you got in an Uber and then like you just got out. You didn't pay them. You didn't talk about money. You just like went on your app and you ordered it. And then you just got into somebody's car and it looked like a regular person's car. And they said, hi. And you're like, hi. And then they took you to where you wanted. And then you just got out and you're like, okay, is that it? Yeah, that's it. That's how weird this experience is. You just kind of go in, handle your business, leave, and then you're like, oh, is that it? And then you get to the point to where you're like, if somebody says, no, you have to come in, you're like, can't this be done online? Like, it would be so much more efficient. Why do I have to take 2 hours out of my day to just pop in for 5 minutes? It's okay. The rest of the world will catch up to EXP. Until then, we have our own back-end system. Here's what's really cool. We control our own back-end system. One of them is called Enterprise. What's really cool about this is that we can track where our cap status is, all our transactions and all that kind of jazz. It's all in EXP Enterprise. We also know where we're at on our stock, where our revenue share. This is something that we really focus on. We know who's doing production. We treat all our different businesses, even though like essentially at EXP, we have 3 income opportunities. One is in buying and selling of real estate, which we'll find in Enterprise. And SkySlope is our document paperless backend system. So those 2 are for buying and selling real estate. Then we have what we call workplace chat and workplace. This is how we communicate with one another so efficiently. So let's say you're new to EXP and you want to talk to Misty Michael, the broker, because you have a compliance question, right? It's not a technology question. It's not about the transaction. It's not about how to log on or log out of something. It's a true real estate compliance question. So you're like, Misty Michael, what's her phone number? What's her phone number? Who do I call? Here's what's really cool. You just get the app on your phone and you type in Misty Michael. She pops up. You can call her. You can video conference her. And if she's like on the other line, a lot of times, like if they're on the other line and say, oh, I'm on the other line, I'll get back to you. The other thing I do is I send them a message. I can see when they've seen a message. That's cool. Talk about accountability. It doesn't just go out into like cyberspace and we don't know. The other thing is we have workplace. It's like Facebook, but specifically for EXP, we have like over 2,000 groups in workplace. If there's a question that you have, I bet you could find it. And if it hasn't been answered yet, you can ask it. And what's really cool is that you'll get a ton of answers really fast. I'm in North Texas, so I'm of course in the North Texas group. I needed more referrals for window companies, Precision Window 1, but I wanted to give them 2 more. I said, this is the one I typically use, and here's a couple others. Went in there and asked, got all of these different companies that people have used, that our peers have used and like well enough to refer. It's so awesome and it's simple and it's on a platform that we're already familiar with. If you use Facebook, you can use Workplace and Workplace Chat because it's basically the same thing. So it's really cool. The other thing, our business that's really cool, I want to go into the other stuff, but we're going to talk a little bit our lead generation tool and our CRM. It's called KB Core. I used to pay about $1,200 a month for a system that had multiple usernames and passwords and different platforms to all kind of work together to do what this one KB Core does. It is our website. It does Facebook ads that we can then put out into the Facebook world. I am currently getting about 1 to 2 leads a day. through KV Core platform that are getting fed to our platform. It does automation. I have not changed the automation since I started using it 3 years ago. It's the exact same. So it all the leads pop in there, poof, they cultivate until one says, I'm ready to buy now. Then I give them a call, or it shows up on the app. You'll see over here on the right, if there's an app and it tells me, oh, they've been on the site, you know, give them a call now. If they're new to the platform, let's say it's a brand new lead, they come in, I'll get a call on my phone that says, hey, do you want to talk to this person now? I'll click yes, I do if I'm in a place where I can talk to them, and no, I don't if I'm not in a place where I can talk to them, and just allow the system to handle it for us. It's cool. Google it. It's really that awesome. Every agent at eXp also gets this. So all this stuff that I'm sharing with you, it's included because you're an agent at eXp. We can afford to do this for you because we don't have all that overhead, all that brick and mortar overhead. It's cool. Tons of marketing, tons of branding. We have so many solutions, and they're all here to help you. So you have 3 streams of income. You've got your real estate buy and sell. You've got the revenue share from growing the brand, the eXp group. And then you also have the equity stock. So that means that we've basically covered 3 quadrants that we had talked about, right? You're self-employed, you're a business owner because you have a system and a model to plug people into, and you're leveraging that, the system and the model and the people. So you're just plugging them in, and you're offering them a better solution than the entire industry is able to offer them right now. And then you have the investment, which is a lot of that is like money, but you're awarded the stock. You can buy it if you want, but you don't have to buy it. How cool is that? Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you probably want some more information, right? Little bit, we're on an 80-20 split, caps at $16,000. No, of course, there's no royalty fees, franchise fees, or desk fees because we don't have regions, franchises, or brick and mortar we're responsible for. We have a membership to the usage of Regis, which has offices across in major cities across the entire nation, right? It's efficient. After we're 100%, the remainder of the anniversary year, there's some fees. It's going to go into this, and we're going to make sure that you get that information. And I'll tell you how here in just a second. We're definitely the company everybody's talking about right now. Inman, Trends, Market Watch. We're who we're talking about. Production. Some of our production awards. We're growing percentage of closed transactions, gross commission incomes. You know, the things that our industry likes to talk about is GCI transaction count. Yeah, it's the percentage wise, we're growing. I don't even know how to say it, but I want you to think of something. Even just because our industry focuses on GCI and transaction count, I'm going to ask you to think about 3 things. One thing, your net. We're going to boil it in one thing, your net. Your net what? 3 things. Your net time, you don't get it back. Your net energy. It is absolutely a limited resource. Your net time, your net energy, and then of course your net money, because our income is what's going to pay for our life now and keep us from having to move in with our kids when we get old. So hope that helps. So just focus on those, that one thing, our net, or I guess that's 3 things. Is that one thing or 3 things? I guess it's 3 things. It's a net time, net money, net energy. I'm going to go with 3 things. Okay. Other cool thing. Okay. Glenn thought it was really cool that ringing the bell. So he's giving us all an opportunity by selling a $25 raffle ticket. These raffles, this $25 is going to go towards a charity that we have partnered with called New Story. eXp has committed to funding the build of 80 new homes. And a home, we're in the real estate industry. We know the value of a home. We know the statistics between renting versus owning. We know the difference between having a child grow up in a shelter versus being able to grow up in a home. Okay. this breaks a pattern. When you give somebody, a family, a home to raise their children in, I don't even have to go into you what a difference this makes. Okay. Please help us. New story. If you don't want to buy a raffle, you don't have to. But dude, I think it's cool. Can you imagine going to New York and pushing the bell and going ding ding and watching? I hear it's an experience of a lifetime. Very few people that I know have done it. Glenn has. The next thing is apply as a new agent at eXp. What this does is you're not actually joining eXp. What it does is allows you to experience what it would be like to be an agent at eXp. I know a lot of people, they'll give you, they'll say what you need to hear before you come over, and then you join and you're like, oh my gosh, this is nothing like what you said. We want you to experience it. So we do have kind of we used to allow anybody to experience it, but what we found is that sometimes as you've grown, you get people who just come in and they're not exactly respectful. So now we're asking people to go through the application process, to review the ICA, and just kind of go towards, as though just if you fall in love, which we kind of think you will, and you'll want to come join us. When you fill out the application process, you'll go through all that. When you decide you're ready to be an agent at eXp, we're going to do all the front end stuff so that when you make that decision, all you'll have to go is to go to your real estate commission online, make a real agent transfer, license transfer request. We'll give you instructions on how to do all that, and then pay the transfer fee. We put that on you, the agents, so that you're in charge of when you choose to come over. So this process of applying as an agent, it merely gives you access to the office. It gives you access, it puts you in direct communication with the corporate company, with the national company who will be supporting you, your business, and the opportunity. Okay, so we really hope you join us. We hope you become a shareholder with us. We hope you take a portion of the revenue. We're so super excited, and get with the person that introduced you, and get with me and give me feedback. I've changed up the slides a little bit. I apologize. I know I started it a little bit, but there was just some information in there that our good friend said, you know what, you really need to share. And I'm excited I did. I'm excited I got to. And I hope this helps. If you have any questions, again, that's what we're all here for. We here at eXp are all working together to help one another. So get with the person that brought you. If they have any questions, they can always ask me, ask any of us. Go to Workplace. That's a great resource for answers really fast. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.